Hello, Nancy here, and I want to show you how to do a gauge swatch in the round without actually knitting in the round. Many of you that are new knitters are not aware of something, and that is when you're knitting a hat or whatever it is in the round, it doesn't matter what it is. If you look at the pattern, it will say you need X amount of stitches in circular gauge. That is because we all knit differently when we knit in the round. Because it's all knit, that may be one reason, and you don't have the purl, you don't have to purl on the back side. But I think the other reason is we're more relaxed. You're just going round and around and around, and most people knit looser when they knit in the round, quite a bit actually. So it's very important that you take your gauge in the round. Now, for the sake of time, there's a way of doing it that doesn't require you to cast on a whole bunch of stitches and make a little tube. You can do that, but this works too. I found this to be very, very effective. And what we're going to do is we're going to mimic knitting in the round without knitting in the round. We are never going to turn this needle. And if any of you have done I-cord, this is kind of similar in some ways. So what I'm going to do is that you need either a double pointed needle, which I have here, or you need a circular needle. You definitely need points at both ends. I'm going to bring the working yarn, making a big loop across the back. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to knit across these stitches. And the first ones are loose. Oh, they're so loose. You're like, what am I doing here? But it works. You just got to trust me on that. Okay? So now we're off and running. We're going to be knitting across these stitches. Okay? And it, like I say, it does save time. There's another way people can do this, and you can cut off like long strips of yarn and then add a new piece every single round, and that gets a little, I don't like that way so well, but this works. Okay, so here we go. Now we're on the last stitch of that row. Okay, see my big old loop? I'm going to just slide, I'm not turning it, I'm sliding it down to the right side. Now I'm going to bring this big old loop back around again. And I'm going to start knitting again. Now what I do with this, because I always block my gauge swatches before I knit things, particularly sweaters and such, I will cut these loops in half in the back so that it lays out flat when I want to dry, so it doesn't have to stay in a curled up position. It just dries a little faster that way, and it's a lot easier to measure. Okay, again we're here. Okay, you see this? Now we're going to bring this loop around the back. Not that loop, that was the tail. Almost got caught there. Okay, and I've done that too. Went through all this and found out it was my tail. Okay, here we go. Along here. I'm just going to do just another one here, and then you'll get the hang of it. You'll get the hang of it. It looks pretty weird, but it works, and that's all that matters. Okay. So now I'm going to set my one needle down. Obviously, your swatch would be much larger than this, but okay. And you see those loops? That means I've done three rows here. But that is mimicking knitting in the round.